I told my buddy Sam, who lives in Africa, and I'm like, hey Sam, can I come over? And he's like, okay. And so I immediately start to plan. I start contacting some organizations and some friends, and they're super helpful, telling me what to do and giving me advice and medical supplies and other stuff and referring me to other people. And so a week and a half later, after I start planning, I've talked to 15 different people, and I have all this wonderful advice, and I pretty much have most of my trip planned out, which is super helpful. But anyway, I land in Uganda New Year's Eve. Sam picks me up, and he drives me to his home in Kampala, which is the capital city, which is a pretty cool place. I spend the first week in Africa in Kampala with Sam's family and hanging out with his kids and his neighbor kids, which was also a lot of fun. And I think I was a decent house guest. I think they liked me. I think they really liked my iPad too, but that might be another story. We actually made a few movies on the iPad. We got this workout video that will probably be released in May, depending on how good of an agent we get. You might see it on some TV infomercials if we put our marketing plan together well enough, but that might follow sometime soon. But after Kampala, I went a little bit to the east towards the mouth of the Nile in Jinja. And while I was in Jinja, I was hanging out with Isaac Abaliwano, who was the director of Orphan Help and Child Neglect Ministry. And this guy's currently taking 30 kids and supporting them through school and through their other needs. And so I hung out with Isaac for a few days and hung out with the kids, and that was a really good time. And just to be with them. Currently, I think only 10 kids out of the 30 are going to school because of the school fees. But we'll see if some more kids can get into the school system in Uganda. More to follow on that. But after Jinja, I went to Kenya, and I went to George Odiengo's family farm, and it was amazing. And there's George, and that's some of his family, and he does permaculture. It's a very organic. And also, while I was here in Kenya, I got the opportunity to teach in a few classes. I tutored some kids in math, and here you can see that I'm at the private school, and I'm teaching English to some children in P8, which is the U.S. equivalent of 8th grade. And it was quite an opportunity to teach class. I think I did a decent job. I don't know what they thought about it.
So that was good. However, it's important to realize that maybe this is just American English, but to work out is actually one verb. To go to the gym and work on your fitness.
But the school experience didn't quite end there. After Rongo, I went to Nakuru, and I actually went to a few other schools. There's a guy named Moses Baumit who's in the U.S. who started an organization called Hope for Africa, and he sponsors schools with musical instruments and computers and libraries just to give these kids an edge on their education because the government can't really support the children with that stuff. But after Nakuru, I went to Nairobi, and Nairobi was really cool. The first thing to know is don't sleep in an apartment room that hasn't been slept in a few months because you might end up with 23 mosquito bites. But I think I recovered from the mosquito bites, and I played basketball with these guys who are in the Dan Kind Academy. And this guy named Dan just trains these East Africa ballers to play in the European leagues. And then once they get into the European leagues, a part of their contract goes back to their home country, whether it's South Sudan or the Congo, just to support education and further basketball programs. So I spent 6 days in Nairobi, and most of the time was with these guys, and they were all really tall and pretty good at basketball. But that was a really good experience. After Nairobi, I went back to Kampala with Sam. I spent a day in the west of Uganda in Queen Elizabeth National Park and did a safari for a day, which was cool. Then I went back to Kampala. Soon I flew out of Entebbe. We went to Madrid for a few days before going back to the States. And that's just a really quick overview of the trip. Total trip was like $3,700, but if you cut out the $2,000 for tickets and the hundreds for the shots, it was like $35 a day. If you have any other questions about expenses, or if you want to see any pictures, I can just Dropbox them to you or send them to you however you like. But that was the trip. It was a lot of fun, and thanks for watching. So I wanted to bring all this candy
from Tennessee to the orphanage in Jinja, but I found all these candy wrappers on the floor, and I asked Becca, you know what happened to that candy? And she said that Leah had some. But anyway, looks like the kids aren't going to get as much candy as they originally thought.
You can take it from my gingerbread house.
Okay, that's good, Ben. Thank you. What's up? You can speed up.